So one very important truth as it relates to this concept of God declaring a judgment, and that judgment is death, is this truth that with or without trusting in Jesus, humans die physically. With or without trusting in Jesus, humans die physically. So Van, please read Genesis chapter 3, verse 19.
You will eat bread by the sweat of your brow until you return to the ground, since you were taken from it. For you are dust, and you will return to dust.
Yeah, so God created us from dust. We return to the ground. Hebrews 9:27 says it's appointed for people to die once, literally physically, and then to face judgment. So death is just a reality that we experience. If Jesus doesn't come back, we're all going to die. And yet it's an uncomfortable reality that we all, sooner or later, even if we're sheltered from it for a time, even if we go through a period in our childhood years or teen years where we're not exposed to death that often, or we don't understand it, it's an intense reality. So Van, I ask you, what is a direct experience of death that you have had, and how did you react to it?
So I went through an 11-month period where I had 3 very close family members die. One was my grandmother, then 3 months later my grandfather, and then 6 months later my own father, my dad. And so that was a pretty rough year. And so it made me too realize that one day I'm going to die, that my body is dying as we speak, and it just makes me turn to God all the more.
Yeah, I agree. I had an experience where I watched my father die of cancer. It was just absolutely horrific. He had terrible lung cancer, and in the final days of his life, he was too weak from the chemotherapy to move, so he was lying on a couch in his final moments, and I remember the reality of counting the seconds between breaths and listening to the death rattle in his throat and just watching him in a coma. It was just horrific to watch, and I do believe that that was something that led me realize all the more that yes, I too was going to die one day. But staring literal physical death in the face prepares us to confront uglier, deeper realities, deeper, uglier manifestations of death that the Bible talks about vividly. And those, I believe, are far more important to talk about than mere literal physical death, as painful and difficult as that experience is. And as we'll see, the ultimate solution is found in Jesus Christ, the one who died, but praise God, the one who rose from the dead.